Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to be looking at the most recent dip it has experienced on the back of Bitcoin's downward move, the volatility to the downside. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So Ethereum's currently trading at 1,611, despite the fact that Bitcoin has had a significant pullback. The Ether Bitcoin valuation is still holding up relatively well at about 0.03125. And we've seen it more or less at this level at some point over the last month or so. We've had several wicks down to this level. So the reason why we want to keep discussing this is because one of the things we've talked about with regards to this Ether Bitcoin valuation, we look at it on a linear scale, is we sort of see this sort of roller coaster, where we just kind of keep going up and then back down and continuing this macro move. And while it has come with plenty of bearish times, like we know that people were very bearish over here and bearish over here, as well as back in December, people were bearish, and now again they're very bearish. We also know that sentiment can theoretically change on a dime if Bitcoin holds these levels. Now, I understand that, we've been discussing the idea of Bitcoin volatility reducing down. So far, it just simply has not done that. As much as we would like to say that it has, when we're looking at weekly moves where it's moving down several percentage points, this week so far 10%, you're just typically not going to see major breakouts of Ethereum on weekly moves for Bitcoin that are minus 10%. Doesn't mean it can't happen. In fact, it has happened before, but you're just not going to see sustained breakouts typically where Ether continues to gain on Bitcoin week over week over week if Bitcoin is actually coming back down. So what we would be looking for Ethereum, as always, is to just keep our good eye, not our bad eye, keep our good eye on Bitcoin and to see where it's headed. We know that if Bitcoin is unable to hold this shorter term moving average that it has been holding for the last several months, if we start heading back down towards, say, the 20-week moving average or something like that, then it's going to make it rather difficult for the Ether USD valuation to hold up. And we don't even necessarily know that if Bitcoin does bleed, we don't necessarily know how badly the Ether Bitcoin valuation will bleed. Now, one of the things we've discussed with the Ether Bitcoin valuation is this general rectangle, and this has been our reaccumulation zone. We drew this rectangle on this chart well before we even moved into it. I believe we drew it when we were all the way over here, and I said that at some point later on this cycle, we should move into this rectangle. We should see some fairly sustained, we should spend a lot of time within this reaccumulation zone while hopefully more or less continuing on our general uptrend. And we have been in this uptrend. We've had this uptrend drawn basically on the channel since January or February of 2020. We have come out of it a few times, right? You can see we came out of it here and we're currently out of it as well. But so far we've managed to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and continue along the way. Now, if we go back to this one, we can see that, obviously these lines are somewhat loosely drawn. You can subtly shift them and it completely changes the entire narrative, right? Doing something like this can completely change the entire narrative. But when we look at these types of charts, right, we can see just how far we could theoretically fall and maintain this narrative, right? We could 0.028. We could fall to 0.028 and still somewhat subtly maintain this narrative of this sort of roller coaster where the lows are, near the bottom of this line, and then the highs are at the top of this one, where they're basically expanding away from each other in either direction. So going back down to, say, this level at 0.028, I mean, that's also basically the bottom of our rectangle here that we've been discussing for quite a while. So I think at the end of the day, we need to remember that, these are just lines on the chart. We want to see Bitcoin stabilize. And whether that happens here or later is anyone's guess. But if it does, then we know that sentiment can change on a dime. Sentiment has changed on a dime many, many times. And if in a few weeks you see Ethereum start to move back up, everyone will be asking who bought the dip. What I would say is to just stick with your plan, whatever that plan is. Recognize that this cycle will be a long one. There's going to be periods where Ethereum is just moving sideways for an extended period of time. If Bitcoin does capitulate to the 20-week moving average, there's a good chance Ethereum capitulates to its 20-week moving average, which is at least another 25% down at around $1,200. Okay, so a $1,200 Ether, if we held it in the short term, would still be somewhat relatively bullish, considering last cycle we had 65% pullback, 70% pullbacks to that 20-week moving average, and ultimately rebound relatively quickly over the next few months. And then before long, we were putting in new all-time highs. So buckle up. It should be quite a show. I think this cycle is only just getting started. We're gonna have some crazy corrections along the way, I think, and it's going to shake a lot of people out. That's why you have a plan. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we have the Altcoin season sale. We're going to end that on April 1st, so the last day of March will be the last day, and we'll end it on April 1st. If you guys want to sign up before the prices go up, make sure you sign up in the next 6 days. You get access to the weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, the premium-only live streams, the Into the Cryptoverse app, and more. Make sure you guys check that out before the prices go up. Thank you guys for tuning in. At the very least, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep an eye on Ethereum. We said the reaccumulation zone for USD, for its USD valuation, is between $1,000 to $2,000. I know that's a big range, but it's crypto, right? Get over it. That's just what it is. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where things take us. For now, Ethereum's at $1,600. Imagine being upset with a $1,600. Imagine being upset with a $1,600 Ethereum last year at this time when it was trading for a modest $200. With that, we'll wrap it up. Subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.